You're about to hear a powerful story of mistaken identity, unexpected kindness, and a mother's fight to protect her child. Rate the story out of 10. Comment where you're watching from. And subscribe. It was 2:13 a.m. and Maya Thompson stared at the blinking cursor on her phone screen. Her fingers trembled as she typed the message, then hesitated. Hey, can I borrow $40 for Zoe's formula? I'll pay you back Friday. Promise. Her bank account had just $2.13 left. She'd stretched every last ounce of formula by watering it down. Her daughter's tiny cries echoed in her ears as she hit send. The message was meant for her brother, but she didn't notice the contact name at the top, Graham Riley. Graham was not her brother. He was the CEO of Hawthorne Dynamics, one of the biggest tech firms in the country. At that moment, Graham was lying awake, scrolling through late-night reports on his phone. His company had just finalized a merger. Everything was supposed to feel like a win, but all he felt was hollow. Then the message lit up his screen. He frowned. He didn't recognize the number, but something about the message made him pause. $40 for baby formula? He reread it. The kind of desperation in those few words wasn't easy to fake. He replied, "Is your baby okay?" Maya blinked. That wasn't her brother's usual response. Yeah, I think you have the wrong number. You contacted me. You asked for help. Is she really okay?" Maya stared at the reply. A total stranger. And yet, something about the concern in those words made her type back. "She's been crying. I've been watering her bottles down. I just need to make it until Friday." There was a pause. Then her phone buzzed again. "I'm sending you $400. Consider it in advance. What's your Cash App?" Maya's eyes widened. "Wait, no, I can't accept that. I don't even know you. And I don't know you. But you reached out, and I can help. That's enough for me." Moments later, the payment notification popped up. Tears welled in Maya's eyes. She hadn't cried in weeks. Not when she sold her necklace. Not when she skipped meals so her daughter could eat. But now, this act of kindness from a stranger unlocked something. She sent back, "Thank you. You just gave me and my daughter a real chance this week." The next morning, Maya stood at the stove, Zoe babbling softly in her high chair. Her phone buzzed again. "Graham Riley. What's your name?" She hesitated. "Maya." Another pause. "Do you have a background in finance?" Maya's brows furrowed. "Yeah, I have a degree in accounting. Haven't used it in years. Hard to get hired after being out of the workforce. You sent that message while I was texting my HR director. I think there's a reason for that. Are you looking for work?" She stared at her phone. What kind of question was that? She typed, "Always. But I need to stay close to Zoe. No daycare right now. What if you could bring her to work? We have a childcare center on site. Flexible hours. I want to offer you a short-term accounting position. Come by this afternoon and meet with me." Maya looked at her daughter. Her cheeks were full of apple mush, her little hands clapping as she made joyful nonsense sounds. Could this be real? That afternoon, Maya stood in front of the sleek glass building of Hawthorne Dynamics. Her resume in one hand, Zoe balanced on her hip. She felt out of place in her second-hand blazer, her shoes a little scuffed. A receptionist greeted her warmly and escorted her upstairs. Graham's office was modern but welcoming. Shelves lined with books, warm lighting, and a playmat in the corner. He'd had it brought in just that morning. Graham stood when she entered. He wasn't what she expected. Casual clothes, no tie, a little tired looking, but kind. "Hi, Maya, I'm glad you came," he said. Zoe looked up at him and gave a gummy smile. Graham smiled back. "I hope I didn't overstep," he said, motioning to the chairs. "That message. It came at a strange time for me. I was up, thinking about how disconnected I've become from real people. Your message felt real." Maya sat down slowly, cradling Zoe. "I didn't mean to send it to you. But you did, and here we are." He leaned forward. "Your resume is solid. I looked you up. Hope you don't mind. You've done contract work for some respected firms. Why'd you stop?" "My husband passed away 2 years ago," she said quietly. Zoe was a newborn. No one wanted to hire someone who might need to leave early or work part-time. Graham nodded. "We're offering a 2-week trial. You'll be reviewing internal reports. Nothing too deep. You set your hours. We'll have a desk ready tomorrow. And Zoe's welcome downstairs in the child center. If it works out, we'll talk longer term. Maya stared at him. This is either the most generous thing anyone's ever done, or the strangest scam in history. Graham laughed. Fair, but I think you'll find I'm just a guy trying to do one right thing this week. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Later that evening, Maya lay awake, watching Zoe sleep peacefully beside her. Her world had shifted in less than 24 hours. It was terrifying, and maybe hopeful. She didn't know what the next 2 weeks would hold. But for the first time in a long time, she felt like there might be space to breathe. And maybe, just maybe, a future. Maya arrived at Hawthorne Dynamics the next morning. Zoe nestled in a soft pink blanket. The glass tower shimmered in the sun and with every step through the revolving door. Maya felt like she was walking into someone else's life. The receptionist greeted her by name and handed her a temporary badge. Mr. Riley is expecting you. Elevator 30. Top floor. The childcare center will assist you with check-in for Zoe. We'll walk you there first. The center was bright and playful, walls painted with clouds and rainbows. Toddlers giggling in a reading circle. Maya hesitated at the door, Zoe still in her arms. She'll be okay, a warm voice said behind her. Maya turned to see Graham. He smiled gently. They're some of the best caregivers in the city. My niece used to come here. Maya swallowed. It's just, I've never left her with anyone before. I get it. He gave a small nod. Want to keep her with you for a while today? We have space set up in your office. Maya blinked. Really? Really? We adapt around here. She couldn't help but smile. Graham's executive floor was sleek and modern. A small conference room had been transformed into Maya's workspace. A desk, computer monitors, a coffee machine, and in the corner, a portable crib and playmat. Maya set Zoe down with a few toys. Her heart still thudding. Was this really happening? She dove into her work. The project was reviewing internal expense reports linked to a recent acquisition, the Brandon Group. The numbers seemed routine at first. But after 2 hours of sorting data, something didn't sit right. A series of small but consistent discrepancies. Nothing major on their own. But together, they formed a strange pattern. Odd, Maya murmured, highlighting the entries. A knock at the door made her jump. Graham stepped in, holding 2 coffees. Thought you could use a break. Thank you, Maya said, accepting the cup gratefully. I actually found something weird. He pulled up a chair beside her. Already? Maya turned the screen toward him. These reports from the Brandon Group acquisition don't line up. There are small withdrawals routed through different departments, marketing, development, even office expenses. But they all trace back to the same vendor ID. Graham's easy smile faded. Vendor 4713B. You've seen this before? Not that exact code, but I've had suspicions. It's part of why I brought you in. Maya raised a brow. I thought this was just a trial position. It is, he said, but I knew we needed someone outside the inner circle. Someone with no ties to the existing structure. Someone who'd see what others wouldn't, or couldn't. Maya looked at him sharply. So you didn't just pick me because of a wrong text message? Graham hesitated. That part was real, I swear. But once I realized who you were, and your background, yes. I connected the dots. Your brother, Calvin Thompson, used to work here. He mentioned you once, quietly, said you were brilliant with numbers. But life had taken a turn. Maya leaned back, stunned. You planned this? I offered you a job. A real one. With pay, benefits, and no strings attached. You didn't have to say yes. She wanted to be angry. But deep down, she couldn't deny that Graham had been respectful, transparent, and, most of all, kind. Zoe babbled from the playmat, waving a stuffed bee in the air. Look, Graham said, I didn't mean to manipulate anything. But the truth is, there's something off in this company. And I don't know who to trust anymore. Maya sighed, her mind racing. I'll dig deeper. But if this is serious, we need to talk to your CFO. Graham's expression darkened. Not yet. Not Vincent. Why not? Because, he's the one I suspect. That night, after Maya put Zoe to sleep in their tiny apartment, she opened her laptop again. She cross-referenced vendor IDs with employee account activity. Then she layered transaction dates over travel expense forms. A pattern emerged. Over the last 18 months, over $2.9 million had been moved, always in small increments, always rerouted through front companies that traced back, one way or another, to Vincent Harmon, the CFO. Her pulse pounded. She saved everything to an encrypted flash drive, then shut the laptop and sat in silence. The next morning, Maya arrived early, determined to talk to Graham before the workday began. But his office was dark. She texted him. "You in yet?" His reply came quickly. "Emergency board meeting. Use the time to finalize your report. Don't share anything yet." Maya sat in her quiet office, Zoe playing near her feet. She opened the files again. Triple-checked everything. She'd found something massive: fraud. At the very top, a shadow crossed her doorway. She looked up and froze. Vincent Harmon stood there, hands in his pockets. A polite smile stretched across his face. "Ms. Thompson," he said smoothly. "Hard at work, I see." Maya minimized her screen instantly. "Mr. Harmon, can I help you?" "Oh, no, just passing through." His eyes scanned the office, then settled on Zoe. "Interesting arrangement you've got here. Office daycare, executive suite. Mr. Riley must think very highly of you." His tone made Maya's skin crawl. "Only thing he values is results," she said tightly. "And I've been delivering, I'm sure," Vincent said with a chuckle. "But remember, Hawthorne ran just fine before you arrived, and it'll run just fine long after." He turned and left. Maya sat there shaking, not just from anger, from fear, because his words weren't a warning. They were a threat, and she was now officially in the crosshairs. That afternoon, Maya sat at her desk, the encrypted flash drive clutched in her hand. Her thoughts spiraled. About Zoe. About the confrontation with Vincent. About what would happen if she made the wrong move. Then her phone rang. "Hello? Ms. Thompson. This is Detective Russo with the Financial Crimes Division." The voice was crisp, professional. Maya immediately tensed. "Yes? We've received a tip about irregularities in Hawthorne Dynamics financial accounts. I'd like to ask you a few questions." "Of course. I'm not sure how much help I can be," Maya said cautiously. "Would you be available to come into our office this afternoon?" Maya's blood ran cold. I have my daughter with me. We can make accommodations," Russo replied. "It's important." Maya agreed, but the moment she hung up, panic surged through her. She texted Graham immediately. "Police just called. They want to talk. Something's happening." His reply came almost instantly. "Don't go anywhere. I'm on my way. Don't say anything yet." Within minutes, he burst through her office door. Breathless. "You okay?" he asked, scanning the room as if expecting someone to be watching. "Barely." "Graham, what is going on?" He shut the door behind him. "I need to tell you the truth, and I need you to trust me." Maya folded her arms, heart pounding. Now would be a really good time. Graham took a breath. "You weren't assigned to me by accident. I've been looking into financial discrepancies for over 6 months. Quietly, and I couldn't trust anyone inside the company. When I got your message that night, I remembered what Calvin had told me about you. It clicked. So you used me," she said flatly. "I gave you a job," he replied, his voice firm but not cold. "A job you were overqualified for. A job you've been amazing at. But yes, I had ulterior motives. I needed someone smart, honest, and completely disconnected from Vincent and his network." Maya stared at him, torn between fury and disbelief. "You manipulated my desperation." "No," Graham said, stepping closer. "I gave you a way out. I just didn't tell you the full reason why." Her eyes narrowed. "And what reason is that?" He opened a desk drawer and pulled out a thick file, sliding it across the table. "Vincent's been laundering money through international subsidiaries. I've been working with the FBI. We just needed concrete evidence to make it stick. What you found, your report, that's it." Maya's breath caught. "So this was a setup? All of it?" "No," Graham said quickly. "The wrong number? That was fate. But everything since has been real. You were the one who found the trail, Maya, and now you're in danger." As if on cue, Martha burst in, her usual calm shattered. "They're here," she said urgently. "Security, police. They're saying you and Maya are being investigated for embezzlement. They have a warrant." Maya felt the room spin. What? They're claiming you funneled money out of the Brandon deal and used Maya as an accomplice. Martha said, her voice tight. That's a lie, Graham growled. Vincent's trying to flip the script. He knows we're close to exposing him. Maya clutched Zoe close. What do we do? Graham didn't hesitate. You're leaving. Martha, take them to the safe house. Now. The what? Maya asked, stunned. Graham stepped closer, placing his hands gently on her shoulders. There's a secure apartment across town. Fully stocked. We planned for this. I can handle what's coming, but they'll separate you from Zoe if you're detained. We can't let that happen. Maya looked at Martha, who nodded, already gathering essentials. Then she looked back at Graham. What about you? He gave her a small, reassuring smile. I'll buy us some time. Stay safe. I'll contact you as soon as I can. And then he said more quietly, I'm sorry for everything I didn't tell you. But what I feel, for you and Zoe, that's never been a lie. Maya opened her mouth to respond. But before she could speak, Martha gently tugged her arm. We have to go. The safe house was a small but comfortable apartment in a nondescript brick building. Maya stood in the middle of the living room, staring blankly as Martha stocked the fridge and arranged the supplies she'd somehow procured in advance. Formula, diapers, even Zoe's favorite teething toy. You've done this before, Maya said finally. Alex, Graham has always prepared for worst-case scenarios. Martha replied. And this? Maya asked. This was worst case? Martha paused. Yes, but also, he believed in you. This wasn't just a backup plan. You were part of the solution from the start. Maya sank onto the couch, head in her hands. So now what? I hide out like some fugitive while Vincent pins his crimes on us? No, Martha said. Now, you help finish what Graham started. Hours passed. Zoe finally drifted off to sleep in the portable crib beside the couch. Maya sat alone, flipping through her files again, looking for any missed detail. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? It's me, Graham said. His voice was low, tense. Had to ditch my phone. They took everything, but I'm out for now. What happened? They're claiming I orchestrated the embezzlement and used you to launder the money. Vincent's feeding them doctored evidence. But we've got the real thing. Your report is our lifeline. What do we do? My FBI contact is meeting us tomorrow morning. 10 sharp. You'll walk them through your findings. Maya's heart pounded. Me? You know the details better than anyone. If you're willing to stand with me, we can bring Vincent down. But it's risky. If it goes wrong, what happens? I've set up a fallback plan. There's an account in your name. If this goes sideways, Martha will help you and Zoe get out of the country. Start over. Maya stared at Zoe, sleeping peacefully. She could leave, disappear, protect her daughter and never look back. But that would mean letting Vincent win. Letting corruption crush truth, and abandoning the man who, despite his secrets, had never asked for anything but her help. I'll be there, she whispered. Thank you, Graham replied softly. Maya hung up and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow, everything would change. For better, or much, much worse. The next morning dawned gray and tense. Rain misted across the city as Maya stepped out of the rideshare in front of a bland office building downtown. Zoe was safe with Martha back at the safe house, and Maya felt the weight of that responsibility settle deeper on her shoulders. Graham was already waiting inside the lobby, dressed in a clean suit but with shadows under his eyes. He offered a tired smile as she approached. You came, he said quietly. Maya nodded. Let's just get this done. They took the elevator to the 7th floor, where a no-nonsense FBI agent named Keller greeted them with a firm handshake. I've reviewed the files you forwarded, Agent Keller said to Graham, then turned to Maya. But I understand you're the one who uncovered the key discrepancies. Yes, Maya replied. I can walk you through everything. They spent the next hour in a private conference room, Maya detailing her findings, the manipulated ledgers, the shell companies, the falsified audit trails. She pointed out the patterns, the dates that lined up with Vincent's appointment as CFO, and the quiet resignations that had followed. Keller listened intently, asking pointed questions, her pen scribbling across a yellow legal pad. When Maya finally finished, the agent leaned back, visibly impressed. This is clear evidence of both embezzlement and international money laundering. She said, "We're lucky you caught it." Graham let out a breath he'd been holding. "So, what's next?" "Vincent is scheduled to speak at this afternoon's board meeting." "Correct?" Graham nodded. "He's planning to accuse me and Maya of orchestrating the entire scheme. Try to get the board to vote me out." Keller stood. "Then we'll let him. You attend the meeting as planned. Maya, you'll wait with my team in the adjacent room. As soon as Vincent presents his fabricated evidence, we'll walk in with the real files." Maya's throat was dry. "You're sure this will work?" "It has to," Keller replied. At 2:45 p.m., Maya sat with two agents in a small room behind the Hawthorne Dynamics boardroom. A monitor on the wall streamed the meeting live. On screen, the executive board was assembled around a gleaming conference table. Vincent Harmon stood near the head, projecting an air of solemn integrity. "I wish I weren't standing here today," he began, distributing thick folders to each board member. "But the facts speak for themselves. Our CEO, Graham Ellis, with the assistance of a contract employee named Maya Thompson, has been funneling company funds into offshore accounts for over a year." Maya clenched her fists. On screen, Graham leaned forward. "Those are serious accusations. Vincent, I assume you have proof?" Vincent gestured to the files. "The financial records don't lie." "No," Graham said evenly. "They don't, which is why I'd like to introduce some new evidence." That was the signal. Agent Keller opened the boardroom door. Maya stepped in, flanked by the two agents, a folder in her hand and her heart pounding in her chest. Vincent's face shifted from smug confidence to visible surprise. "Maya Thompson," he said with a faint sneer. "How convenient." "Actually," Maya said, keeping her voice steady, "I'm here to explain how you've been stealing from this company for the past 18 months. She handed her report to the board members, then moved to the large monitor, connecting her laptop and projecting her findings. What followed was a meticulous breakdown of Vincent's scheme. She detailed how he'd used minor discrepancies across divisions to quietly siphon funds, launder them through foreign accounts, and falsify the internal records to cover his tracks. This pattern began precisely 3 weeks after Mr. Harmon was promoted to CFO. Maya said, clicking to a final spreadsheet. "And every dollar can be traced to shell companies for which he is the beneficial owner." Silence fell over the boardroom. Vincent's face paled, but he forced a scoff. "This is ridiculous. Fabricated data from a temp hire with a questionable background?" "Actually," Agent Keller said, stepping forward, "our forensic accountants verified every detail of Ms. Thompson's report, and we've obtained warrants for your financial records. Mr. Harmon, you're under investigation for felony embezzlement and international fraud." Vincent's eyes darted to the exit. "Don't," one of the agents warned. But he bolted. In an instant, chaos erupted. Vincent lunged across the room, toward Maya. A flash of silver caught the light. Graham moved without hesitation, grabbing Vincent's arm mid-strike and shoving him backward. There was a brief struggle before the agents tackled Vincent to the floor, wrenching a penknife from his hand and slapping on handcuffs. Maya rushed to Graham, who was clutching his side. "You're hurt," she whispered. "It's fine," he grunted. "Just really wish I'd worn something less white." 3 hours later, Vincent and 2 board members who had quietly enabled his actions were in custody. The building had mostly cleared, but Maya remained in Graham's office, watching Zoe play with a stuffed elephant on the rug while Graham sipped tea and winced each time he adjusted his bandage. "What now?" Maya asked. "Damage control," Graham said. "Hawthorne Dynamics will survive, but the merger is likely off the table for now, and I've got to rebuild trust internally." He paused, then looked directly at her. "As for you, I want to offer you a permanent position. Head of Internal Audit, independent, reporting directly to the board." Maya blinked. "That's a big leap from contract work." "You've earned it," Graham said. "You saw what others missed, or ignored. You followed the evidence, not the politics. That's what this company needs." Maya looked over at Zoe, now yawning and snuggling the elephant. "And her?" "A spot just opened in the daycare," he said, "but she's welcome in my office anytime." There was a pause. "Maya," Graham added gently, "I know this all started on the wrong foot. But everything that's happened since, the partnership, the late nights, Even the way I look at Zoe like she's already part of my life, it's all been real. I just needed you to know that." She felt a mix of emotions, gratitude, confusion, warmth, all tangled together. "I need time," she said honestly. "Take all the time you need," he replied. They sat in silence for a moment, watching Zoe giggle in the soft afternoon light. 6 months later, Hawthorne Dynamics glittered with string lights and soft jazz for its annual holiday party. The conference hall had been transformed into a winter wonderland, and Maya Thompson stood near the back, watching her team accept recognition for implementing company-wide safeguards that had restored internal trust and financial stability. Head of Internal Audit, reporting directly to the board. It still felt surreal. Zoe, now walking with wobbly determination, toddled between Maya and Graham, her tiny shoes squeaking on the polished floor. She had become a familiar sight around the office, charming everyone from receptionists to board members. "Ready?" Graham Ellis asked, coming up beside Maya. His dark suit was crisply pressed, but his tie was slightly askew, the result of Zoe grabbing it in excitement earlier. Maya nodded, her eyes drifting to the small sparkle on her left hand. The engagement ring still felt new, even though the quiet proposal had happened a month ago on a calm evening at home. Just the three of them. They had taken things slowly, cautiously, and deliberately. Trust had been hard-earned on both sides, but love had grown between them steadily, rooted in respect, shared hardship, and an unspoken promise to never lie again. Graham took her hand gently. "You ready to tell them?" Maya smiled. "Let's do it." He tapped a spoon against his glass and cleared his throat as the room quieted. "Thank you all for being here," Graham said. "This year tested us in ways we couldn't have imagined, but we came through it stronger. We protected the integrity of this company because of the people in this room, and because of one very special person who's now part of Meridian's future in more ways than one." He glanced at Maya, who joined him at the front of the room, slightly nervous but glowing. "I'd like to share some personal news," he continued. "Maya and I are engaged." There were a few gasps. Then applause, genuine, warm, and supportive. Maya took a breath. "I know this company values transparency. So, just to be clear, the board has been informed, and all protocols were followed. No conflicts of interest here, unless you count our daily arguments over who gets to hold Zoe during meetings." The crowd laughed. Even Martha, standing off to the side, dabbed at her eyes with a napkin, smiling proudly. After the applause died down, Maya slipped away to check on Zoe, who was now curled up in Martha's lap, eyes fluttering closed. She looked at her daughter, the tiny spark that had given her strength when everything seemed to be falling apart. She remembered that first desperate message, sent by accident, that wrong number that somehow led her exactly where she was supposed to be. Back then, she had feared her life was crumbling. In truth, it had only just begun. Later that night, in their new home, a warm apartment filled with toys, soft rugs, and laughter, Maya tucked Zoe into bed. Graham leaned against the doorway, watching silently. Maya sat on the edge of the crib, brushing a curl from Zoe's cheek. "She has no idea how much she's changed everything," Maya whispered. Graham stepped beside her. "Neither do you." They stood together for a long moment before turning out the light. Maya paused at the doorway, looking back once more. Then, softly, she spoke a truth she now knew deep in her bones. Sometimes the mistakes we think will break us are actually pointing us exactly where we're meant to be. The end. Did you enjoy the story? Rate it from 1 to 10 in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves a great story. Thank you for being here.